Monogam-ish Podcast contains content intended for mature audiences. The views expressed here are for entertainment purposes only. Please enjoy the show.
If I go back looking on my days of monogamy, I was horrible at it.
Okay.
And I think that's like a common theme for a lot of people when they start that. But I've always, I remember when I was like really, really young, looking at people, like, you know, going back to like real sex and stuff like that. But even before that, I was like, wouldn't that be cool to have like multiple partners and multiple things? And I remember Two-Face on Batman, where he had like, you know, this partner for this side and then the other partner for that side. Right. I was like, that makes sense to me. Monogamy never made sense to me when I was younger.
Hey, Ishes. Just got done filming another great episode.
I know, with Duane, the director of the Colorado Center for Alternative Lifestyles.
Not the coalition.
Not the coalition.
Oops. I sometimes, you know, sometimes that happens. At least, like I said, it started with a C.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good for me.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, his podcast was really good tonight. You know, he talked a lot. He was really educational.
Yes, he was. He knows a lot, and he's been through a lot to get to this point.
He made a lot of like amateur mistakes. I mean,
Absolutely.
as an amateur, but like he knows to like counsel people like how to do this, or make sure you're definitely negotiating this before you get into something. You know.
Mhm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I love teachers that are students.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So he is on this mission to continue to learn. And when he got into this lifestyle, it wasn't, you know, a lot of people, when they think about getting into the lifestyle, they immediately think, oh my God, I'm going to get jealous and I'm going to, you know, have these feelings. No, look at it positively. You're going to learn new things. And you might learn things from being with another partner. You might learn things from other people in the community, or learn a new kink. And that's the best part about it, is it makes sex fun again.
Yes.
And you know, you never want to stop learning things, because you always want to try something new. And so it was really great talking with him today.
Oh yeah. He had a lot of good stuff to say.
He did. And you guys should take that advice. Have fun with this. That's the whole point of the lifestyle. Don't be so strict on yourself, and don't take yourself so seriously.
Be flexible.
Yes. Enjoy your partner or partners, and learn new things about them, and enjoy their pleasure. I promise you, if you stop focusing on yourself and what you're getting out of it, it totally changes your world.
Yes.
Totally. For the better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it goes both ways.
It really does.
It goes both ways.
All right, peeps. You know where to find us. Go on to our website, monogam-ishpodcast.com, and please make a donation, a one-time donation, either to our Cash App or go over to Patreon and become a member. We'd love to hear all that
Sexy.
salacious stuff that happens on the pink couch.
Oh yeah.
The pink couch.
All right, Ishes. See you later. Hi, Ishes. Welcome to Monogam-ish. I'm Justina.
And I'm Kenji.
And
we're Monogam-ish.
We have a great show today. I'm excited.
I know. First time meeting him.
I know. And he reached out to us.
I know. We appreciate all those. Thank you very much.
So, Duane, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Duane, tell us your title.
So my title is, I'm the executive director of Colorado Center of Alternative Lifestyles.
Okay.
Wonderful.
I love it.
Wonderful.
And we're going to delve into that, but we want to get to know you first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's see. My story, when I actually first started doing like alternative sexual stuff, I was probably like 18. And this was back during like, you know, when internet was kind of big, like AOL and all that stuff. And I remember like, you know, going into chat rooms, and I was like, I used to watch a lot of porn growing up, and I was like, I want to experience that, but I don't know who will. Not the girls in high school.
No.
I had no interest in like the girls in my high school, so I was just like, I got to find this out in the universe. So I literally was like on the internet, like, can we do some stuff? Are you into this? And I would just go out and like find people. And it was one of those things that lifestyle was really, you had to know somebody to get in.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And I would see like, you know, pictures and stuff.
Now, let's clarify when you say that lifestyle.
Okay. So
is this kink?
Yes.
Okay.
So I didn't really know much about the swinger lifestyle back then. But as far as like kink and BDSM and stuff like that, I didn't know much about what was going on in Denver because I grew up in Northern Colorado. I'm from Michigan, grew up in Northern Colorado.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And so small town. I don't like people knowing my business. So a lot of times I came out here.
Okay.
So like, I would go to work and stuff like that. And all of a sudden on the weekend, get my paycheck, come down to Denver, go back to work on Monday and be like, hey, what you do this weekend? Nothing.
Just hung
You don't
out.
wanna know.
Yeah, just hung out.
I was like, I kept it PG-13 with everybody. And, so I did that for a few years.
Now,
and
why did you not want anybody to know your business?
there's a few reasons for that. One of the big reasons is that back then, a lot more people it wasn't as commercial
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
open about things.
Mm-hmm.
So the things that I do now, like being open and out like I am now and everything, you do that back then, especially at 18 years old.
Oh,
Right.
right.
Like 18 years old,
Like late 90s. It was like
Yeah.
early 2000s.
right?
Yep.
Black male, small town. It was Greeley.
Oh,
Okay.
fuck.
Oh,
so
my
I was
gosh.
like,
Yeah.
small town.
That wasn't even
Um,
Hispanic yet.
everybody-
It was white really.
Everybody knew who I already was growing up, so it's not like I could hide anything with people, and I just didn't want that to cross over to like everybody knowing my stuff. So
Okay.
it was easier for me to come down to Denver, find people with similar interests to possibly, jump in and explore and stuff like that.
And what
Eh.
part of kink initially got you? Was it like rope tying, shibari?
Okay.
Were you
Beating him with the whip. What?
Right.
Come on now. Come
So
on, Dwayne.
there's an interesting story of what first kind of turned me on to kink, and it was the movie Hellraiser.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Okay.
And like
Pinhead?
yes, so the chains, something I have a kind of a kink interest in like chains and stuff, but like hearing the chains and then seeing the like torture and stuff, I was like, I feel awkward that I'm actually turned on by watching like
Okay.
Pinhead
Yeah.
like hook people and do all this stuff. I'm like,
Yes.
are people into that? Because, Clive Barker needed his inspiration for something. It's not like he just came out of the blue and was like, hey, let's hook people and have these Cenobites. It was like, people do stuff like this. So, and that was also during the time of like real sex on like HBO.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So, I used to see all these like things that you could do. And I was like, I feel like I want to explore that, but I can't do it here. So I literally just adventured into the internet and just went places
Found
and
groups.
found groups, found
Mhm.
people, experienced stuff. Not all of it worked out a lot of the time. And there was some pretty interesting kind of weird stories growing up where it's like,
Absolutely.
here's one story that I always tell. It was a situation, I think I was like 19. And I'm
Okay.
talking to someone on the internet, and then all of a sudden, my buddy's like, I dare you to go to their house. And I was like, what? And it was like the wife, and it's like, yeah, I want you to come to my house, and I want you to come into my house, take a shower, sit on the toilet, and blindfold yourself. And I was like,
Oh.
all right. I was like, well, you dare me. I can't turn out a dare, right?
Okay.
So all of a sudden, next thing you know, we drive. And I was in it was in Brighton.
Okay.
And we get to the house, and I'm like, okay. And I see like the pictures and like the wife and all this stuff. I'm like, okay.
So you just walked in.
Oh, yeah. They were like, the door's open. Just come on in. We're good to go, right?
Did you have like some sort of make sure it's the house that has
Right.
like this
Right.
doormat
Oh,
or something?
I
Make sure everything, right?
Right?
Before you walk into fucking Brighton.
Well, this is like, back when you printed out the address on like
Oh, yeah.
MapQuest and all that
Right.
stuff. So I had it like, okay, it was like, this is the address, and I'm looking. I was like,
Oh,
okay, we're good.
fuck.
Okay.
All the
So-
shows like this.
Yeah.
Dot.
And like my friend's in the car, he's like, "You're good." I was like, "Yeah, just wait, whatever. I'm going to go do this." And all of a sudden, I get into the house, take a shower, and get on the toilet, blindfold myself, and I'm just sitting up there, and I'm like, "Okay." And then next thing you know, I see somebody start to crawl into the bathroom, and I'm like, "Okay, here we go, about to happen." And next thing you know, they start giving me head, and as they're giving me head, I was like, this feels different. So I take off the blindfold. It was the husband.
Yep.
Oh.
God, I fucking felt it. I fucking felt that
Oh,
shit.
It wasn't the,
The
wife,
wife.
It was the
And
husband.
that hadn't been discussed at
Oh,
all
no.
whatsoever.
Fuck no.
No.
Oh fuck. Okay.
So I'm sitting up there and I was like, and like, like
God.
I'm like 19. I was like, where's your wife? And he's like, oh, she's in the bathroom. I was like, oh, okay, is she coming? she like coming out? What's going on here? I'm like confused. Like I was like in that weird place where I was like, I'm not angry because it's head.
Right.
But
Which I was like, all right, I'm getting some head. It just felt different, but it's head, so whatever. But I'm like, where's your wife at? Is there somebody else coming in here?
Right.
And then all of a sudden he was like, can I keep sucking your dick? And I'm like, man, fine. Like, all right, like we're doing this, but your wife is coming out though, right? Like eventually your wife is coming out of the bathroom. And he's like, yeah, she's just a little shy. And I think after like 5 minutes, the wife didn't come out. I was like, all right, man, I feel a little awkward. Like I'm not going forward with this.
Right.
I was like, this is outside. And all of a sudden I get back in the car. My friend's like, what happened? I was like, it was the husband, man. He's like, what? And I was like.
So you never even seen her? She never made an appearance?
She
God
never.
damn it.
She probably wasn't even in the house.
I know. Yeah.
The years of experience going forward, like looking back on that, I'm like, there are so many things that could have been prevented had I had better conversation.
Oh,
Right.
God.
But that was also a dangerous situation for that person
Yes.
to put a random, because I'm like,
And if you weren't as big and like
Yeah.
I would have been terrified to do that. You wouldn't have caught me going
I've been the
randomly
same.
into
No, fuck
somebody's
no.
house and taking a shower and blindfolding myself
Yep.
on the toilet.
Fuck no.
I've been the same size since I was 13, and I used to play like
Damn.
semi-pro football.
Oh, wow.
So,
Oh, wow.
like, I was like, that's when I was like, like 250 pounds. I was in shape. I had like muscle and like,
Mhm.
big. And I'm like, that's just the riskiest thing to do.
Right.
And it was like he was like 5'4", like 140 pounds. And I'm like,
Oh, my God.
you are the bravest dude on the planet. Because like,
Right.
would you just invite some random person into your house that's this big that you just violated their consent?
Right.
God, that
And
could
if
have
I
been
would
so
have turned
bad.
violent,
Right.
that would have been like this whole big situation.
So
that,
bad.
Like, could have
And
been.
So bad.
That's common.
So bad.
That's common. People, in your situation would not understand how to control their emotions in, being put into a situation like that they had no idea what was going to happen. And we see it all the time. At least it's frequently reflected in media, for sure. But you also hear about it in real life of people, getting hit because of the way that they dressed or looking at somebody weird or touching somebody weird.
Or just not letting everybody know, like, what's going on,
Right.
Because that is a bad situation.
Right.
That is a bad situation all around.
I know.
And it
You
could
gotta
have
let
been
people
so
know.
bad. Yeah.
Like, at least give me the option,
Thank you.
and like, I tell people now, it's like, it's hard for me to really say no to a lot of things. Someone's like, you want to try something? I'm like, overall, I'm a hedonist. So you're
Right.
like, you want to try something? I'm like, all right.
All right.
I'll be like, I don't know what it's going to be like. I don't know if I'll like it or not. So I guess I got to try it to see. So, like, being in that situation and going back to that, I'm like, would I been like, yeah, no? Or would I just said, no, I'm not into that, and
Mm-hmm.
not having that choice and that option to ever do that,
Right.
it's just.
It's
Yeah.
crazy, though. It opened up some doors for you. Like in your mind, though, you're just like, oh, shit, okay.
Yeah, It
Yeah,
did. And
okay.
that's when I first had that thought process. I'm like, so am I like into this or, what?
Right.
Like it was like that weird kind of like, can I question my sexuality or something like that? And then like, I was like, let me explore this. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I guess I got to go explore it, go figure out what I'm actually doing here. So that's why I was like, I'm pretty comfortable with stuff. But I love women. I love femininity. After my exploration and stuff like that, like I tell people, like I'm attracted to women. I'm attracted to trans individual. I'm attracted to, I guess I'm getting into my sexual orientation and stuff here. But like, I'm attracted to feminine presenting individuals.
Okay.
And that's just open to discretion. That's
Mhm.
Okay.
feminine presenting individuals.
Okay.
Just like me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's true.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, yeah, and that's kind of like, just trial and error, just exploration and being like, let me fuck this monkey and figure out if I actually like it or not. And yeah.
So would you
Shit.
say you're monogamous?
No.
Okay. So you loved the kink route, but you also loved the non-monogamy route.
If I go back looking on my days of monogamy, I was horrible at it.
Okay.
And I think that's like a common theme for a lot of people when they start
is.
that. But I've always, I remember when I was like really, really young, looking at people, like, you know, going back to like real sex and stuff like that. But even before that, I was like, wouldn't that be cool to have like multiple partners and multiple things? And I remember Two-Face on Batman, where he had like, you know, this partner for this side and then the other partner for that side.
Right.
I was like, that makes sense to me. Monogamy never made sense to me when I was younger.
Okay.
And it's something that I never got to explore, but I'm like, I wonder what people would think if I actually showed up to like, you know, it was like, this is my partner and my other partner. That wasn't a language I used when I was like, you know, 18, 19 years old, but that thought process was in my head. And it wasn't until, like, I've been married, divorced, and it wasn't up until, I think, 2012 was when I was like, this is not working for me. Like, none of this is, like, working for me at all. Being monogamous, like, after my divorce and, like, going through relationships, and I was like, I don't like this path. There has to be something else.
So you and your wife never explored non-monogamy?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you it sounds like you cheated then a lot in past relationships.
Yeah, when I was younger, yeah. I was not faithful at all when I was younger. I didn't even...
I'm sorry, did you and your wife even talk about opening up the marriage or anything like that?
No.
Oh.
I hindered a lot of my relationships for the simple fact is that I never opened up about my sexuality. It was kind of like a conditioned thing to where I knew I had interest in other stuff, but I would get in relationships. It's like you get in relationships and you do you have your fun, and then when you get like married and you settle down, you stop all that, right? So
it depends.
You're like,
we didn't do that.
You two are like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, even if we take the non-monogamy out of the equation, when it's just me and him, we still try so much new shit all the fucking time. Like,
fuck yeah.
It's like, what can we get into today?
and that was the issue that I had to where I wasn't comfortable opening up about that. To where it's like I wouldn't, like, my partners were like, are you into stuff? And I was like, I would mention something to test the waters, and they'll be like, what? And I was like, never mind.
If you felt like it wasn't receptive. Okay.
Really?
Right. It was like I would
really.
And it was like it wasn't received well.
Yeah.
It wasn't reciprocated, and I was like, okay, so apparently we're clearly not into that. So I was just like, all right, then I guess I'll put that on the back burner. And
Now, question: is it because like it's like a minority thing? Because we do the same thing, and I tell her like that's how it was like growing up too. It was sort of like I do my own thing, and I'm not gonna talk about that shit, you know. And we're gonna do that shit, you know, keep it to ourselves, because it's just like the way people present it, and you know the outside, because everybody's just like, what the fuck, you know? It's supposed to be all regular, and what the fuck, you know, if it's not.
There is a conditioning that goes on to that, like in your upbringing, that like my dad used to talk openly about sex, and as we would like go through that, I was like, okay, cool. But then it was like, I got married and I settled down, and then I don't do that stuff anymore because that was my wild time. So to me, I was like, all right, so go have my wild time. And then when it's time to settle down, you just do like, you know, the 5-10 minutes of sex and you settle. You don't do all that stuff. And not only that, like some of the interests that I had, not a lot of people wanted to explore. So I didn't do it. I just kind of was like, oh, okay, fine. You're not into that. So I guess I'll kind of like hang out and relax. I won't do anything. I won't bring it up. We'll just, you know, have normal sex. And it did. It really got really boring. And a lot of my partners previous to like 2012 and stuff would say the same thing. They're like, it never seemed like you enjoyed sex. And I was like, I didn't. And that was really my fault because I wasn't opening myself up to my partner or myself. It was just kind of like, well, they're going to judge me for this, so I'm not even going to explore it. So we'll just do what we need to do, and I'll go play Call of Duty or something.
Oh,
you know, it was just like one of those things where I was kind of like, I kind of tuned it out. And I enjoy sex. I always have. But it was just the fact of not being comfortable enough to really explore that.
With the partners that you had.
Yeah.
With the partners that I had. And I was just like, okay, we're just not going to do that. And yeah, like I said, 2012 came around. I think I was on OkCupid, and I matched with somebody, and we start talking about stuff, and they were like, so like, are you into like X, Y, and Z? And I was like, hey, you know this porn performer too, right? I like his videos and the stuff he does. He's done some pretty his name is Max Hardcore. He actually ended up going to prison for stuff.
I know.
But like some of the things he would do, I was like, I kind of like that, and like Rocco Siffredi and stuff like that, and Nacho Vidal. So like some of these more hardcore performers, I kind of used to enjoy. And also, next thing you know, her and I were talking, and she was like, "Are you on FetLife?" And I was like, "What's FetLife?" I was like,
oh shit! There you go.
I was like, I don't
That
understand.
life is still just as popular now, especially
even more
in the community. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't understand what this FetLife is. I don't understand what you're talking about. So she was like, "Yeah, feel like you should probably get on FetLife." And she didn't take me as seriously because literally I wasn't on FetLife, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. So let me just."
You knew you were part of the community without ever being part of the community.
right?
Yeah, it was like I used to skirt on the outside of it and stuff, and like,
Right.
and I tell people this: if you ever want to see how kinky people are, go look at military people.
Fuck yes.
Like, I used to hear about stories about like wives and like gangbang parties and stuff like this. You look at the history of like swinging going back and how the military did stuff and like all of these things. The military is like some kinky fucking people. Like they are some really kinky people.
So I'm a military brat.
Right?
So I haven't ever shared this on the show, but my parents were in the lifestyle. And at that time, it wasn't called the lifestyle. I didn't even know that it had a name or a title or that it was a community or a group or anything like that. My dad was gone frequently, and probably when I was about 12 years old, they moved somebody into the house with us. And my mom was like, "This is my boyfriend. He's going to live with us. I still love your dad, and we still are going to sleep together, but don't tell anybody." And that was the end. And so I, as a teenage girl, got thrown into this household where a lot of what I could do was restricted because we had to hide it. So I couldn't have friends over. I couldn't, I didn't have that normal childhood experience. But then on top of that, I had to lie about who this guy was and pretend that I liked him, and I didn't. And it was really a difficult situation. So if you had asked me, I told this to my husband a little bit ago, if you had asked, my birthday's coming up and I'm thinking back on the years, if you had asked 12-year-old me if I would have ever done anything like this or been on a lifestyle podcast or
Fuck no.
Fuck no. I was 100% going to be monogamous. I thought my grandparents' way of life was the way to go. They were married for like 50
Forever.
plus years, and it was just the two of them and never heard of infidelity or cheating, and they loved each other to death. I was so wrong. And it was a lack of education. 12-year-old me didn't understand it. I was confused. I felt uncomfortable, and so I hated it. But now I understand that in the military, your partner's gone for a long time. Like, I bitch if I'm not getting sex after a day. Like, I can't imagine 45 days gone or, that's a minimum. Like,
I was deployed 15 months.
Right. You're talking
Damn.
sometimes over, sometimes years. And especially then. It was wartime.
I know.
So they were gone, frequently. And sometimes they'd come back for a little bit and then they'd be gone again.
Yeah.
And so I totally understand why in the lifestyle or in the military the lifestyle is so prevalent. And you have to have an outlet. Everybody has those sexual needs, and what do you do when you don't have a partner to share it with?
Yeah, and I used to tell people, I was like, if you go to a military post and you go to the gay clubs, it's packed. And I tell people this all the time. I was like, there's a lot of men in the military that, due to, well, actually when I was in, it was don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
Right.
So you had a lot of guys that like they wouldn't say anything, but they had people. You drive by the gay bar and the gay club, and it was like people parking in the grass, and it was like packed. So that people are going there, and they're military because it was like Fort Hood, Texas. It's Killeen. It was a military town, so you knew that pretty much majority of people that were there were military.
Right.
But you didn't talk about it, but it went on.
Right.
And that's something that like I try to talk to people about, is that, especially in like the Black community, as a masculine male, they view, being anything other than straight, it's like I've heard so many comments that are like, that's a waste of a man right there. And I was like, how's it a waste? Like I literally, like we can still do stuff. It's just I don't have a problem experiencing other things with other people.
Right.
But if you look at like feminine people, more feminine presenting individuals and stuff like that, it's fine because they're like, oh, we get that, right? It makes sense to them.
Mm-hmm.
But a masculine person in a minority group and stuff, they're like, but why?
Right.
You know, they're like, you're supposed to be do this because you're a masculine man and we need you to fit this mold and be like this and all that stuff. And I'm like, I fit the mold in so many ways.
Right.
But in so many ways, I don't. And like, it's just like that perception and stuff that you get. And that was another reason why I did a lot of things that I didn't tell people about.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the simple fact is that I'm like, I can explain this to you. A1, if I explain something to you, I might get kicked out the military.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people that have actually been kicked out of the military for the don't ask, don't tell.
Wow.
So it's one of those things to where you're just kind of like, I do it. I'm there. I'll do it. I don't need to tell you about it. I don't need to show you the certificate of appreciation. Check the box, and I'm like, going home. You know, so like, yeah, I used to tell my military buddies, I was like, I used to disappear in the military. They're like, what are you doing for the weekend? And everybody's like, we're going to the bar. I'm like, I'm going over that way.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? And I was like, I'm going to Austin or I'm going to San Antonio. He's like, I would just disappear. That has been my MO, and it's still my MO. People laugh at me. Like, I'll go to a club and they're like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm across the street at the bar. They're like, what? And I was like, I was hanging out with y'all for a little bit. I got a little bored, so I went on my little solo adventure over here. And, you know, that's pretty much been my MO for like, you know, years. But yeah, I do. I have a tendency to just kind of wander off.
Do your own thing.
Do my own thing.
Come on back.
Yeah, and I'll show up with like a grin. They're like, what you do? And it's like, you don't need to know.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it. It was a fun experience for me and other people involved, but don't worry about it. So
Right.
What's crazy to me is, with the military, you travel so much, and having those new experiences opens up your mind, opens up your world, and it allows you to accept people more for who they are and understand that there's different cultures. But there's still, even though the don't ask, don't tell isn't prevalent anymore and it's not a thing anymore, there's still a lot of fear around men and women coming out as gay or bisexual or, having any sort of sexuality or sexual preference other than the norm, the straight monogamy, you're getting married and your wife is going to travel with you or your husband's going to travel with you and it's just going to be the two of you. And even when they're gone, you need to deal with it. And it's weird that the military hasn't embraced that more because they travel and because their minds are open more to alternative lifestyles.
There's a lot of fear and insecurity that goes into that. And I think there's also like a level of projection that people have going into the community, especially for men. This is why, like, when we talk about like toxic masculinity and stuff like that, everything, I was like, there's a lot of fear and insecurity based thought processes that go into that. That's why you have that. So, they're like, oh, I can't go in the bathroom. I can't piss in the bathroom with a gay dude because the dude's going to be looking at my dick. I'm like, no, you're projecting what you would do. You're projecting your fear and insecurity of shit that you would do because you just like violating people's like space. I don't sexualize people unless I'm like, hey, I consensually sexualize you. Or like, hey, I acknowledge that you're an attractive individual. Like, I could do that. It doesn't mean I'm sexualizing you. I don't sexualize nudity. But the fact is that a lot of guys have that thought process that they just like, yeah, that's like, I would totally walk into the bathroom if I saw a girl pissing. I have to look over. Why? That's awkward.
Right.
Listen,
Right.
Like, if we had like open stools and open bathrooms and stuff, like go to the bathroom in your space and somebody could go to their bathroom in their space. And if you could not sexualize somebody standing next to you and make it awkward and just exist, we wouldn't have a problem.
Exactly.
But you're literally sexualizing people just for their existence and stuff. And so like it's like fear and insecurity and this projection of things that you would do or that somebody else would do, that if they're given that opportunity would probably take advantage of it.
Right.
So you see that so many times that those thought processes that come in are like, oh, I'm uncomfortable with like, gay dudes, or I'm uncomfortable with women. And so you come up with every excuse to why you don't think a woman could possibly coexist in a space with you.
Right.
Because maybe in some instances a woman is better at certain things. And then you're like, oh, not only did I lose out to other men, I lost out to women.
Mm-hmm.
So then it builds on that insecurity that you have in those spaces, and especially in the military, because military is just this, it's a huge pissing contest.
It is.
And I was a combat soldier. I was a scout. I did reconnaissance. I was in the army and stuff. And I was around nothing but men. So pretty much from 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning until 5 or however long at night, I was around men. Get off of work, went back to my barracks, around men.
Right.
And I'm just like, this is a lot of testosterone, and I don't mind that, but this is borderline feeling like I'm in jail.
Oh.
And there was a thing when I was younger where I ended up in jail for some stuff. That's a whole different story. But literally, that environment is no different.
Yeah.
That built up testosterone and how people interact and do stuff. And I'm just like, oh, just scared. That's what it is. You're literally scared of what you would do or what you think another guy would possibly do to you. It's not the fact that you're scared of the fact that you're like, oh, guy's gonna violate me. I was like, that's because you know what guys are capable of.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. That's because you know what the guys are capable of actually doing to people, to women, and possibly other men given an opportunity.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just exists. That's why you have those fears and insecurities that roam everywhere.
So when you were in the military, you weren't married?
I got married in 2009. 2009. I was considered a geographical bachelor, and I got out in 2010.
Okay, so right at the end of your...
Yeah, right at the end of my my time and everything like that. And I got out on a medical.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm a disabled vet.
Oh.
But
so then you met your wife and decided to go the monogamy route, and that didn't work out very much.
That failed.
So-
That failed.
Have you had a relationship within the lifestyle?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I've had a few. I've had and as far as the kink and BDSM lifestyle, I'm heavily involved in the leather community.
Okay.
And I'm also
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm also involved in authority dynamics. So DS relationships, MS, master slave, dom subs types of relationships and stuff like that. So yeah, I've had those type of relationships. I also had partners to where we would go swing, and I love to watch. I'm a voyeur, huge voyeur. So if I have a partner that's an exhibitionist, loves to go out and be like, I want you to do stuff with who? Everybody. I just want to watch. And literally, I love to sit there. I tell people I had a story to where a few years ago I got my dick pierced.
Okay.
Oh.
And I was like, all right, well, I can't have sex for a little bit. She was like, I'm kind of horny. I was like, let me call some friends. So I get on the phone, I call some friends, they come over, and as I'm sitting here, I literally sit in a chair, I have popcorn, and I'm eating popcorn, and I'm watching sex, and I'm
It's like a show.
Hell yeah.
that's what's up. I like that. Oh yeah, yeah. She's a fan of that. Keep going. So that's stuff that I like to do, and it's fun when you actually get over that, and you find people that actually match with you in certain ways, that you can explore
Mm-hmm.
those depths of your sexuality and the depths of yourself and stuff like that without. And now, I tell people, they're like, I'm not into that. And I was like, hey, well, we probably won't work. They're like, what? And I was like, there's some things I'm not compromising on when it comes to relationships. I was like, I have a zero, I'm not compromising on that. You're not into that. It's not going to work.
So are you in a relationship currently?
No.
Okay.
This is actually coming up on actually the longest that I think I've been single
Okay.
since I've been in a lifestyle.
Okay.
And I also tell people, I've navigated the swinger community pretty well as a single male.
Okay.
So
Which is rare.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that it's rare that you have a single male and then a single black male that doesn't fall into the category of the BBC.
Right.
Yeah.
So I come in and they're like, oh, are you a bull? I'm like, nah, that's not my thing. No, I'll do some stuff, but I'm not a bull. I'm not
Don't you get tired of asking that?
Oh
just
my
because-
gosh,
Or
right.
being asked that constantly just because of the way that you look?
I do,
Dude.
and honestly, I tell people, and I'm just like, they're like, yeah, do you have a big dick? And I was like, no, it's tiny, it's little. You don't want none of this. It'll be like 3 minutes of your, 3 minutes of your life you'll never get back. You don't want this. And literally would go over and have sex with somebody on the bed and be like, had you came to me correct, this could have,
right.
we could have enjoyed ourselves.
Right.
But no, you just like reduced me down to pretty much my dick.
Right.
And we were like, this is all you are. I was like, no, I do a lot of other things.
That happens
Black
to my
men.
husband.
Yeah, fetishized, black men and, minority men and Asian women. Or
Mm-hmm.
And I even tell, even on a broader spectrum of that, I even tell people that if you look at that, pretty much unless you're the dominant male of that country's origin, you're if you come into an environment of sex, you're gonna be sexualized. You can't really.
That makes sense. Okay.
It's like, they look at like women that are multiracial and stuff like that. That mystique of multiple races and stuff like that. They're like that's sexy, or black man. You're like, oh, big black cock and all that stuff. And
Right.
like all of these things that they come in and they have these like perceptions about and everything. But I'm
A
like,
lot of them have been shaped by porn.
Yeah. That preconceived notion of like, oh yeah, this is
Right.
what we see and it's all like that,
Right. We always joke around that Mr. Foolwood's a piece of meat.
Oh my God.
Because he literally gets treated like a piece,
A piece of meat.
everywhere he
everywhere.
goes.
Everywhere.
By
It
men
doesn't-
and women.
yeah, if you got, and I grew up watching. I used to watch like 70s porn, like the golden
Bush.
era of porn, and I would watch it like a movie, and I still do. I would literally sit down and watch like the opening of Missy Beethoven, not even jerk off. We'll watch it like a movie because I'm like, it's an actual. There's like plot line.
There's a
like
story.
Theme.
Oh my God.
It tells you all this stuff.
Those 70 porns were the best, man. Debbie Does Dallas and all that
Oh,
shit,
yeah. There's like an actual story
God
to
damn
Debbie
it.
Does Dallas. And
Yes.
like the porn scenes were like, 5 to 10 minutes. 10
Right.
minutes was max.
Yeah.
Right.
Because everybody gets bored. Now you watch porn and it's like, you get a porn and it's like 4 hours and it's like
Right.
4 scenes. And I'm like, who jerks off to that? Who is interested? Like, they literally have done studies that people lose interest after like 8-9 minutes.
Right.
Mhm.
So why do you have a 45-minute or 50-minute porn scene nobody cares about? Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to fast forward to what I want and get into it and be like,
I'm done.
I'm done. I don't care. But like, if you look at like how porn has like been driven, and you look who drives porn, that's when you get into those things to where it's pretty much like, Latin women are a fetish, black men are a fetish, black interracial porn, and like interracial porn is only black men and white women.
Right?
Other than that, it's not interracial.
Right.
They don't consider that interracial porn. Interracial porn is literally black man with with white women. That's it. That's the only criteria you need for that to be interracial porn.
Mhm.
And then, so yeah, you like, and I know people that perform in porn, and you talk to them about the stories of how they do that in like production companies, and they push that because there's an agenda behind that, because you got to look who looks at your porn, right?
Mhm.
You have to look who actually is looking at your content, and you're like, this is about profits. So your profits are pushed by, either borderline incels or borderline, whatever people that, don't get a lot of sex, so they turn everything into a fetish. So they're like, I want to see this because, I think they're beneath me. I think you're all beneath me, but I want to see you do that because you're filthy. And like, you read the comments on like, Pornhub and X videos of this stuff, and I'm like, have you ever had sex?
Oh God.
Ever have you experienced that? Because some of the things you hear, some of these comments, and like, you think they're their kids. You
Right.
would think that some of these people making these comments are kids, but it's like a 40, 50-year-old guy that's sitting in his house and was like, yeah, let's put that dirty slut in her place. I'm like, what? Like, that's all she's good for, some holes. I'm like, what the hell are you saying? Like, you can't be like this in the real world. Like, never would you ever in a day go out into the real world, walk into a bar and go, God, you're a bunch of good fuckholes. Like, never.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
I would never go to a bar and say that to a woman and be like, God, you're fucking holes. I'm like, I don't even know what your holes look like. You have you're in a bar. So, like, yeah, it's so weird that, like, that whole realm of how the industry is pushed, and you see that in, like, so many other realms of stuff. And even in the BDSM and kink community, you see that a lot. that especially after the AIDS epidemic, you see like the change of like heteronormative people like swing into like kink and BDSM, and it changed the landscape of it, especially with like the Gorian novels that came out in the late like 60s and stuff like that, of like the master slave dynamics and stuff like that. It really changed the game of how people looked at that. And then, you like fast forward to like 50 Shades of Grey, which I have to say fucking helped me get laid a lot. It helped me get laid a lot, but it also taught me there's an educational component, because I realized that a lot of women would see that, be like, can you do some of that? And I was like, I can, but not like that, because that's horrible.
Right.
Like,
Thank you. That's a horrible. Come on
It wasn't
now.
the best example by any
Right?
means. But unfortunately, pretty much every time the lifestyle is portrayed anyway in the media, it's not a good example
Right?
of what it actually is in real life.
Oh my God.
Whether it's polyamory or swinger community or the kink community, doesn't matter. It's all portrayed poorly.
What was it? They redid She's Gotta Have It, Spike Lee's movie.
Okay.
What?
It's like a television series. Yeah,
What?
They redid it. It was on Netflix. And it's like She's Gotta Have It, and they redid it, and they tried to put it in a place of like, oh yeah, she's poly, she's dating other people. But even then, it was this poorly executed way to represent poly and stuff like that. So yeah, it's the representation of alternative lifestyles are horrible.
Oh yeah.
And it's like
The worst.
I'm like, do you like if you look at Sons of Anarchy, they literally had a Hell's Angel and people that they talked to about what to make this realistic. What does this look like? You can't pick up a kinky person in a lifestyle
Right.
and be like, hey,
Nope.
how do you properly use a flogger? Like,
Right.
you're like, do you want me to show you pain? Like when he was like, do you want me to show you pain? And he pulls out a cane. I was like, what was that? 5 hits and granted, people have their pain tolerance, but I'm like, okay,
Right.
that was horrible. That's not. You're like, that wasn't proper swing. Why do you have kink pants? Like I'm like sitting there, like all these things are going through my head when I'm watching like 50, and I watched all 3 of them just to watch them, and I'm just like, this is horrible. And not only that, they go back in the second one to where he was like molested by his mom's friend. So there's trauma to it, because you just can't be kinky without trauma. They're always, if you want to enjoy your sexuality, there has to be trauma involved in your life.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, why do we always have to attach everything to be this stuff? And it's like, if there's no trauma, you just want to have normal, regular old sex. And I'm like, does that sound fun?
Right.
Like even the pitch of my voice just went.
Yeah.
So I was like, it doesn't even sound fun. You're just like, I'm bored just saying it. So like, yeah, you look at that and I'm just like, yeah, you attach all these things to it, and again, it goes back to fear and like insecurity and stuff like that. And it's just like, what happens if you open up your relationship and then like your wife or whatever has sex with somebody who has better in bed and then has a bigger dick? You're like, all right,
Yeah.
did you have fun?
Like our producer Drew says.
Like I said, like if she finds someone better, has a bigger dick than me, good. Because she doesn't deserve anything less than me.
Exactly. Exactly. And I tell people I have a hot wife, not like a stag vixen kind of fetish.
Okay.
Oh,
where
okay.
I personally like enjoy like my partner going out and doing things. I love that. I'm more open to like me, poly. I might date maybe one other person. 3 is my limit. I've done 3, and I'm like, this is confusing. I have a brain injury. I will forget. Like I'm like an NFL quarterback. I'm like, you are. Oh, shit.
That's
what
hilarious.
Do you like? Your name. Oh yeah, I have like a playbook that I'm looking at. And I'm like, Tiffany
Cliff
likes
notes.
this, and like, yeah, that's how bad I am, because I just know I forget stuff. So yeah, it's just like, I love to watch my partners enjoy stuff. I love to hear stories. They're like, oh my God, I met this guy and we did this and went back to his place and he did this to me. And I was like, shit, let me take some notes down. That's what's up. Like, if I don't know it, to me, I'm like, if I don't know it, I want to learn it. I want to see it. I want to experience. And that's one of the biggest things that's been driving me in kink and BDSM and like poly and all this stuff is, if I don't know it, I want to learn it, and let's see how I can be better at it. I am kind of slightly ego driven in the fact that like I want to be good at what I do.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, BDSM. I want to be good at it. I just don't want to do it. I want to be good at it.
Mm-hmm.
I want a respectable reputation as a dominant person in a BDSM. As far as kink, I want people to be like, okay, I heard you know how to do this. Can you do this with me? I'm like, yeah, I got you. I'll show you.
Yeah.
And I'll show your partner so you two can go home and actually explore this together and be like, thank you. I appreciate it. I enjoy that.
Is that what you do with the coalition? Are you on the educational side?
So executive director, I kind of have my hands in everything, but my first class, one of the first classes I actually taught was for Cal back in 2017,
Okay.
and it was a fisting class. And
Okay.
Okay.
so it was funny because like I think we had like maybe 25, 30 people show up to the class and stuff like that, and like the first part of it was I broke down anatomy, and people are like, "What?" I'd start talking about the clitoris, and they're like, "What? I didn't know the clitoris was like, what?" And like,
Stop it.
my partner at the time, she was like, "I never knew the clitoris looked like that," and I was like, "Seriously?"
Well, that's
And
why
she-
they're taking your class.
I know.
Right, but like if you look at the education, I actually just posted on our group page last night, like information about the clitoris, to how it's pretty much like like 10 to 30% of the clitoris is visible, little
Right.
thing,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the person. The rest of it is all internal, and it pretty much it's all of that in that area for people that have that equipment. And when you look at that, you're like, what? And I was like, yeah, it's a whole pleasure thing that you sit up there and you don't focus on and you don't even think about, because you're so focused on like, guys are like, well, I always tell guys this, because if you look at like sex education books and, like the how-to stuff and how to improve your sex life, it's giving women permission, in a heteronormative mindset.
Okay.
It's giving women permission that it's okay to want to have desires and want to explore sexually. And it's giving men the ability to want to do more than just the act of having sex.
Right.
And I think men are kind of conditioned in a way that they focus on the act.
Right.
Like you hear guys have conversations like, I smashed that. And you're like, that's it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You had sex.
Dude.
That's your big claim to fame, is the fact that you just had sex.
I had
Cool.
I had sex with her for over an hour. I'm all great. What else did you make her have an orgasm? Did you
Did you enjoy the hour?
Right.
Because you can have horrible
Well,
sex for an
that's
hour.
that's oh my lord.
Or you
Yes.
can have really good sex for 5-10 minutes. There's no
Yes.
time limit if you're having intent for it to be pleasurable. If you focus more on the act of actually just doing it, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And like that's like when I was younger, that's where I got complaints from. Where I was just like, I remember I was like ego driven. I was like, oh, I want to be the best. I want to like, we're gonna fuck for like 2 hours and we're gonna do this and yeah. And they're like, dude, quit, guy. Like just quit. Like
Yeah.
just, it's sore. And I'm like, oh, I'm not done yet. And I'm like, yeah, you're not enjoying this, are you?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself that I'm like, oh yeah, and like like you hear all these stories about like fucking for hours and doing all this and yeah, and then I'm all like, like oral. Did you do this or did you use your hands or did you stimulate this? I'm like, nah, I just kind of like pulled the clothes off and went at it,
Right.
Yeah.
and I'm like, looking back, I'm like, that was horrible.
There is so much more. There is so much more.
Yeah, looking back on like how I had sex back then, I was like, man, I hope they enjoyed it.
Right.
But I feel like they probably didn't, or they could have enjoyed it. But what I knew now, it's like if I could go back then and do what I do now, they'd be like your mind would be blown, because I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna explore this, and we're gonna. Like I will pull out a speculum and turn into a doctor. I'm like, there's a point. I feel like I'm serious. I'm like, there's a point right there. It's like, and I'm like looking at your like everything now. It's like this tactical thought process that I have now to like sex, and I enjoy it more now, because it's like giving myself to another person, opening up and everything like that, and that's why I like enjoy doing that. And I'm like, I want you to be able to explore this and experience this.
That is so my husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm very blessed in that fact because he does. He doesn't just. It's not just about PIV. It's so much more than that. And our friends will joke that we move furniture for hours. That's what they call it. But yep, moving furniture for hours. But it's not just the act of fucking. Like we're trying multiple positions. We're playing with different toys. We're oral, so many things. Like there's so many different things that you can try that, the PIV is just a little part of it.
That's probably why I lose interest. I cycle through certain times. I kind of get bored in the swinger community because of that. Because the swinger community is predominantly, hey, I met you. You look cool.
Let's go hit it real quick.
Let's fuck.
Let's go do this real quick.
Yeah.
And I'm just
agree.
like, that's cool. That's cool. Are we going to do anything else? Like, and then I start thinking, I'm like, hey, you want to explore this? And they're like, you want to do what to me?
Right.
And I'm all like, I'm just like, hey, if I take like a couple of fingers and kind of try this thing, and they're like, nah, but my husband doesn't do that, or I don't know what that is. I was like, okay, so we won't explore that, but if you ever want to,
right,
please feel free to reach out to me and stuff. And there are certain people that I have a group of people and friends that I hang out with and stuff that are open to exploring, and it's like a cross between it's like a cross, like you go to like a party and it's like a cross between everything.
Right.
Like, I was at a party and all of a sudden I didn't realize this until we stopped midway through, but everybody at the house party was watching her and a friend of mine, in this scene of me. She's like, I haven't done this in a while. She's like, I need you to do it. I was like, all right, cool. So we start going at it and we're getting rough and everything like that. And all of a sudden, before I knew it, like there's like 15, 20 people like, I've never seen anything so extreme before. And I was like, okay, I've been out of practice. I was like, like both of us like, we haven't done this together in like over a year.
Oh,
like,
nice.
We're both out of practice. So like what you saw there was us trying to get acclimated to each other again, because we're like, we haven't done this together. And let alone, I tell people, I was like, I haven't done this. And like, I had some health issues come up a couple years ago. And it kind of like coincided, and then like relationship ended. So my sexually, kink wise, every wise, like this is like my like down slope where I have to like slow down and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
so you're obviously looking to ramp it back up.
Yeah, and it's like COVID, and like I tell people, they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "I'm sick." And they're like, "What?" I was like, "I'm actually sick. It's not COVID, but I'm sick." And I had sinus surgery a few months ago, and like all this stuff, and I'm like, there's like I'm like the boy in a bubble where I just get like sick in the past 2 years, and everybody's like, "You want to meet up?" And I'm like,
no,
I feel it coming.
Oh, damn.
And I don't want to be like the asshole because I don't know what I want, but like I get like chronic sinus infections because from being in the military and my deployment and stuff like that. So I have some of those like issues that kind of come up and they hit me and stuff, and everybody's like, yeah, I was like, okay, I want to have sex with you, but I can't breathe.
Oh God. Do you have allergies too?
Yes.
Oh, dude, and especially here. Oh my God.
And this year.
Me and you, I am allergic to fucking Colorado. Good Lord.
I wake up,
Good
I'm just like,
Lord.
Oh, my existence hurts.
Right there with you, man. Good Lord, right? Holy shit. Oh my God. First time ever went and got that allergy test, and it's like, hey, there's like 12 trees in Colorado. You're allergic to 9. You got 8 bushes. You're allergic to 7. I'm all, fuck, man.
I need a box that just says Colorado.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like, it's like all of these allergies, this is like Colorado. Mark that.
And oh God, and especially now, because it's like it hasn't frozen over. It's not cold. So I'm still getting these fucking allergies too. And I'm like, dude, it's the fucking middle of winter.
And then the fires?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the fires when the first fire like a couple of years, it was like 2019. I don't know when that was. Time changed.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. But I think in 2019, I was like, what is going on? And they're like the fires. And I was like the fires, and then like allergies, and then all this stuff is hitting, and it was just this constant like sinus drippage, and I'm like this is my life. And trying to deal with the like VA and stuff. I'm like, this is pretty much my life now. I walk out there like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm alive.
Right.
That's what you're gonna get from me right now.
Oh,
but you
God.
are working. You're working.
No, I am not.
So is the position with the coalition?
It's a nonprofit position. So
Okay.
It's all volunteer based. Myself and the other directors are all volunteer.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's not a paid position and stuff like that.
Okay.
How many directors do you guys have?
So we have let's see, we just had a director step down. So we have an education director, and then we have 2 social directors and stuff, and we have another director where we're looking at kind of adjusting their position to some of the things I kind of want to do in the future with Cal, to kind of take it in a
So what is the goal of Cal?
So, when Cal started in 2015, it was supposed to facilitate education in the community and
Primarily
outlet for-
around kink?
No, just like kink, BDSM, swinging, poly, the LGBTQ community.
So really everything sex positive.
Everything under that spectrum of alternative, what would be considered
lifestyle.
not heteronormative,
Mm-hmm.
and even within the heteronormative thought process and stuff like that, they still want to explore sex and stuff. So it's pretty much open to anybody.
Right.
So if you want to explore, if you're a monogamous couple, you want to open up and explore your sexuality with your partner, and you're trying to figure out how to properly communicate that and navigate that. These are things that Cal can possibly facilitate. We could have like a group, and we could sit down and actually work with people. And it's like, hey,
Well, that's awesome.
so like, and we have classes on like non-monogamy and like poly and like a kink 101 stuff.
Okay.
Going forward, there are some things that I envision, just because when I remember when Cal first started, I was like super like, this is an awesome thing that has potential to be something really big.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
Yes.
like bigger than I think what the original creators of Cal are willing to commit to. And I think there's a certain level of burnout in certain communities when you're doing things. Because I took a break. I was doing a podcast, and like you're going to like conventions, and then you're like, you're teaching classes and like mentoring, and it's just after a while I'm like, I am not even actually doing the things I like to do in this, because you're always out, and you just get it's something, it starts to kind of like slip a little bit. And I felt that whereas it's kind of like, I'm not even having fun. Even my partner at the time, she's like, so we are doing stuff. I was like, no, it feels like work. And I was like, that's the problem. My my lifestyle feels like a job now. I'm not actually having fun with it, because it's like, I'm like showing up, and then, people are asking me questions and stuff. And I started to lose that, like that. I started to disconnect from it and stuff. Like, it doesn't bother me now. Like, I was an instructor my last 2 years in the military, and I loved it. I loved like teaching.
Okay.
And if you're working with like people in the military, like I think that's that summer, the 2008 to 2009, that time frame, we set an Army record for pushing through scouts. I think were like 110% or something like that.
Oh wow.
It was ridiculous. And these are like 16-week cycles of, it's like 170 people during the summer, almost 200 people. They were opening additional barracks that haven't been open in years. And
Damn.
it's like, you do this, and then you have like a week or two off, and then here's this new unit started back up, and now you got the instructors and the drill sergeants, and we're doing all this, and we're back over here, and then we're back over here doing this range. And like, it got to the point like, you're like sleeping out at ranges, and like you're ultimately like educators and babysitters and facilitators of all this stuff in the military. So like, you get burnt out, but you don't have a choice.
Oh yeah.
Versus like here I kind of had a choice, and I'm just like, I'm just going to
Because it's a
disappear.
volunteer position.
Mhm.
Right. So I just kind of stepped back from everything and reevaluated how I wanted to go forward. And the opportunity to take over Cal presented itself, and I was like, yeah, I want to take it on, because I have some ideas. I have a vision of where I want Cal to be that will take some work. It will take some work for everybody to kind of want to see how that can kind of open it up and present itself and stuff like that, and if people want to commit to it and stuff. But I do believe that Cal has the ability to be something really big, and
Okay.
something to really help people in multiple lifestyles and stuff like that, from the trans community to, get reconnected to the gay community and stuff. And like, even in like Kink and BDSM, the gay community has become this like subgroup. And like, it's predominantly like, especially Colorado, and it's just predominantly white heteronormative stuff. Women, it's that standard like in the swinger community where it's like, heteronormative couple, bisexual woman, pretty much does, that's kind of how it rolls. And I'm like, but that's not the norm. And sometimes people just need permission.
Right.
And I think that's like one of the biggest things, that sometimes people just need permission or to see somebody that doesn't fit that mold. Just kind of I'm going to do what I want to do. It's like Dennis Rodman.
Oh, yeah.
Dennis Rodman like went through like his stuff, and all of a sudden he starts showing up in dresses. People are like you can't sit there and be like, but like that's the worm. Dennis Rodman. Like you would see him dating Carmen Electra, then he's showing up in a wedding dress to a basketball game. You're like, I'm confused, but I'm not going to say anything to Dennis Rodman.
Yeah. Well, as long as he's performing,
right.
That's as long as he's performing, and that's the key, because then everybody's like, oh, okay, so as long as you're bringing it, everything's okay.
And like I tell people, and I was like, I have certain advantages and things that I can do. I know that I can, had I want to, I can walk around in a dress and show up to an event somewhere, and nobody's going to really bother the 6'2", 6'3", 300-pound black dude and be like, hey, you in that dress, you little sissy man. I'm like, we're going to have this conversation?
Right.
It's not going to happen. And if I could have that comfortability to do that, other people might be like, okay, cool, I can go out and do this. And it doesn't mean that you're gay. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, I look at dresses. I wear kilts.
Awesome.
Kilts are common in a BDSM community and stuff like that. And I'm like, you could do that. Dresses are comfortable. And they have pockets now. So
that's my wife's complaint.
Like some of the dresses, like I hear that so many times. They're like, where does the dresses at? But I'm like, literally, you can wear what you want. Doesn't mean anything less or more about you. You can do things that you want to do, and it doesn't mean anything less or more about you. You have the right to exist without being sexualized constantly. Like it's like
judged. All of it. Just accept.
Yeah, and
that's how this community should be.
And it's not like I'm projecting my sexuality onto other people. Like I exist, I do my things behind my doors. I'm not going to walk into like a public library and pull my dick out on a book and be like, I like public indecency. No, that's rude.
Right.
It's inconsiderate. I'm not putting my sexuality on other people. I'm just saying that I'm open about it and I'm comfortable enough to explore it. And I would like to find other people that are willing to do the same thing.
And you like to help them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if they want your help, I want you to look at that camera. So if they want your help, where do they find you?
Okay, so you can look at Colorado Cal, coloradocal.com, or you can look us up, Colorado Cal, on FetLife.
Okay.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
So we have FetLife and stuff like that. And just recently, I started a Facebook group.
Okay.
For Colorado Cal. So
I'm in that group.
Yes. Yeah, Colorado
Nice.
Center of Alternative Lifestyle. So yeah, if you go on Facebook, we have a Facebook page, Colorado Center of Alternative Lifestyles.
Okay.
And then we have a group where we post I'll post books, suggested reading.
Oh, nice.
I'll post possible classes. We have sex therapists and stuff like that, or presenters that have been presenting for 10, 20, 30 years in the lifestyle.
Oh, awesome.
Wow.
That have knowledge and information and stuff, because I'm like, I don't know everything. I will never ever convince somebody that I know more than I do. There's a lot of stuff that I don't know.
Huh.
So there are things that are in my scope, I got you. Things that are not in my scope, I got you to somebody that can.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Because
That's what we like.
yeah, and that, and I have no ego about that, and I think that's why. When I was in the military, they were like, do you know how to do this? I'm like, nope, but I'm going to find out. Because I want to find out.
Yep.
Like today, I posted something about, I think I was saying that earlier, but I posted something about the clitoris.
Right.
And some, one of the educators in a group was actually like, there's some misinformation about that we just are starting to find out.
Oh.
And I was like, awesome. So now I went on Google and I'm like, what is this? So I got to figure this out, because and it was we were talking about the nerve endings on the clitoris, where they said the male penis has about 4,000 nerve endings, and then they're like the clitoris has about 8. Apparently, there's they're looking into research, and that was for an elephant.
Oh.
It's not even for a human.
Okay.
So, like, the anatomy of the clitoris and a penis is pretty much from the same material.
Mhm.
The same thing. So we're like, yeah, this is safe bet to say that there's at least 4,000 nerve endings on that. And I was like, hey, that's good. Thank you for updating me on that information.
Right.
Now I got new source material I can go look up and learn.
Mhm.
I hate being right. And I tell people that I hate being right because I want to know if there's more information.
Right.
Oh, there
So
you go.
there's more information out there so I can learn. So if if I went through everything I could possibly go through, then I'm right. I'm okay with that. But I don't want to be that person to be like, yeah, it's this and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden they're like, no, dumbass, it's not that. And you're completely wrong and you're putting out bad information into the universe.
Right.
And like that bothers me because you see that it's so prevalent.
Mhm.
And I think especially now because I look on like Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that, and you see people that are like, well, COVID happened, and then like I started dating somebody, and I was dating somebody else. Now I'm poly, and now I'm a coach and a counselor for polyamory. I was like, oh, hold up.
Right.
So COVID happened. You date somebody, and then you date somebody else.
And
Now
you think
you're an
an
expert on polyamory.
Right.
Or there was somebody, they posted a comment about BDSM and dynamics and stuff, and they were like, well, it's like women pretty much predominantly run dynamics and stuff like that. I was like, isn't it kind of an equivalent exchange between both partners? It's a consenting exchange.
Absolutely.
I agree.
That you're meeting with somebody. So how are you putting this information out? And I was like, where did you get your information from? And then I hear and I started looking into them, and I read their backstory, and they're like, yeah, so like I had a partner that kind of like, he choked me a little bit and spanked me, and then I just opened up my mind. And it was all through COVID. It was all during the time of COVID. So within the last like 2 years, you pretty much are coming out discrediting sex therapists or people that have been in a BDSM lifestyle for like all these years and all these things that people have done. And now you're going to put your 2 cents on it, and you're going to pander to a certain demographic a certain way to get your money.
Right.
Mhm.
I respect your hustle, but you are literally putting out bad information into the community into people's hands, and people
Right.
will believe that. And if they go into bigger spaces, that can be problematic because like when you go to conventions of like a couple thousand people,
Right.
and you're just like, oh yeah, I do things like this, and you'll have a whole room of people. Who the hell taught you that?
Right.
And you're like, this lady on the internet or this guy on the internet told me that one time. I'm like, what? And like, oh yeah, that community would be like, let's get on TikTok and find out who the fuck said this. So it's like, like people do it. They try to police themselves up, and they, a lot of people want proper education and proper stuff like that. And I have seen where people fall through the cracks and predatory behavior and stuff like that. It's going to happen.
Right.
It shouldn't happen. You don't want it to happen, but it's something that happens in certain communities. And when you see that happen, the kink community is like, you try to police yourselves, but you need something to happen. It's like cops. It's like law enforcement.
Yeah.
Right.
You need something to actually happen for somebody to do something.
Right.
You can't do preventative stuff to where you're like, I feel like you're a douchebag.
Right. Right.
But
Even though we've been around so many of them, and you're like,
I know,
dude,
and I'm pointing to
fucking
you,
know-
and I'm not pointing to you.
I know,
but it's like, I feel like
Ugh.
you're a douchebag, and you're gonna do some douchebag shit, and I
Yeah.
gotta pay attention to you. And then you're like, as soon as it happens, you're like, I knew it. I knew it was gonna happen.
Mhm.
But you can't just sit there and look at somebody and be like, you're a douchebag, or you're a predator, or you're gonna take advantage
They
of
have to
somebody.
give you a reason.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And and there's so many loopholes that are built up in the system, that system and the swinger community and stuff like that. And we were touching base on this before when I talk about my experience at Scarlet Ranch, or like my experience of swinging, where the people that have violated consent most with me are women.
Mhm.
But based on the loopholes that they have,
Right.
it's kind of set up to where they did that. And then I'm like, I'm not okay with it. I say something about it. But let me go up and talk to, talk to someone who's like, that woman just touched my penis. And they're going to be like, fuck are you here for?
I know.
Right.
Because they're like, you're in a swinger place and a
I
woman
know.
just touched your penis and you didn't do anything back. And you're like, no, you don't understand. I didn't want that.
I didn't consent to that.
See?
I didn't even
See?
know it was happening.
Right there, right there with you, man. God damn it, right there with you.
Enthusiastic consent, people. I just did a
Yes.
TikTok video on enthusiastic consent. And it's one of those things that I wanted to fit in. And I'm glad that, we talked about it before the show, because it happens all the time where when we're talking about consent, primarily the conversation is focused at a man. And telling you, you better ask me, you better get my permission, you better not do, no means no, all the things. And women just automatically think they got a free pass.
Yep. Overstep those boundaries.
Right. I can just touch.
Cross that fucking
And
line.
that's
So
with
bad.
females too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
A lot of times when
Oh,
my
yeah.
consent is violated, it's by another female. It's not by. I'm not saying that other men haven't violated my consent, but definitely other females violate my consent consistently. And it's at the free pass. That
Way
they
more
think-
than any other man.
Right.
Way more.
And they think that they can just get away with it, and that's not okay, even for us girls.
When I teach about, I teach a lot about personal responsibility when I talk to people about doing things, and I was like, this is where you need to empower people. You empower them to be comfortable enough to say no.
Right.
And I think that's a big problem and I think the reason why certain things happen to men so much is because women are like, who's going to say no?
Right.
Right. And it's like you say that and somebody has that smirk because that's literally something that they're like,
Right.
who's going to say no? Because I'm a woman, right?
So that's the primary focus of our new club is safety first.
Yeah.
Is we want people to feel safe, men and women, to know that they can go there, and you are amongst a community that's not going to tolerate that type of behavior. If consent is violated, we're gonna police it. You're gonna feel comfortable and empowered enough in the space and environment that you're in to say something, but we're also gonna back that up, and that's important because, like I said, I would have never done what you did and showed up to somebody's house and put on a blindfold.
Hell no.
Safety is a huge risk factor, especially for females, and so everybody should be able to feel safe.
Yeah, there's some things that I've done growing up. That's why I said I had to reevaluate the whole dare thing. After that. That literally was like the turning point in me. Somebody was like, I dare you. And I was like, I don't do that shit no more. And you don't even know the story why. I'm just going to tell you I ain't even doing that no more. We're just going to leave it at that.
I love it.
Yeah, just going through and negotiating. And I am really hard on ex-partners that are like S-types and stuff like that, or, submissives and stuff. I'm like, hey, you have a personal responsibility to yourself.
Right.
Like, don't just go off of what we negotiated. And I want you to don't have a problem being aggressive with somebody, telling them like, okay, if we're doing this, I want you to do X, Y, and Z. I don't want any other stuff or anything like that. Be comfortable about that, or just opt out of it. Just opt out of it.
Yeah.
And understand, even if you're already in a situation where you're in the bedroom or you're in the bed, you still can revoke consent at any time. If it goes down a road that you weren't expecting, you have the ability to say, oh, wait, I know we talked about this, but I didn't realize it was going to lead to this, and I'm not comfortable with that. And cutting it off for no reason at all.
Yeah.
And guys, men need to be more comfortable actually saying that. Because guys have a problem. Like, we always talk about women getting into situations and them speaking up and stuff. Nobody talks about the fact that guys are getting a situation where they're laying naked with, somebody and stuff like that. They start doing something. They don't feel comfortable about it, but they don't say nothing.
Right.
Guys will be like, well, I guess I'm just going to do it and whatever.
I know.
No, just say some I don't want to do this. And, just say it. But it's that conditioning of guys are like, it's weird where, guys are conditioned and it's like, so many people have so many conditioning from their upbringing and stuff like that, men and women. And, when that comes into relationships and stuff, and that's why I talk to guys, when you were talking about, your masculinity and stuff, your masculinity is on the line because you're saying no to a woman. You're not less of a man because you're saying no to a woman. If anything, your masculinity is checked because you're doing something as a man that you don't want to do, right?
Right.
So you're sitting there and saying, I'm not comfortable with this. I am saying no right here and now.
Right. You're being a man.
You're
Right?
You're right. You're being that man. You're reinforcing that I don't want to do this, and I'm saying no, and I am controlling myself in this situation like this. So, if anything, reinforce that thought by actually saying, no, it's not my thing, and I'm not going to do that. But a lot of guys will get themselves in situations, or they'll just say whatever because You know, it gets back into this. Like, you tell your friends, and they're gonna be like, "You turned on a woman naked in bed. What's wrong with you?" Like, I didn't want to do it. You know.
Right.
And if it's a group of women having that discussion, and they're like, you know, the guy was doing this stuff in the bed, it's like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
You know, like that conversation shifts to where they're like, that's not okay.
Right.
So weird, right?
Group of
so
men,
weird,
they're
right?
like, why you turn that down? You're like, I don't want to do it.
Right.
Just that's
Wasn't feeling it.
in the discussion.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, or you know, I tell so many people all the time that like, especially for like men in the swing community, when we talk about the whole like women, if you're in the mood, or you're not really in the mood, but you kind of want to do it, you know, get some lube, do a couple things. You know, I'm not saying it's just that simple, but, you know, boom, put some lube on there. Let's go. Man can't do that. We can't put popsicle sticks on our dick,
Right.
wrap it around, you know, duct tape it and be like, all right, I got this.
It's the brace. It's the finger brace.
You're going to get splinters. That's a whole kink in itself, I'm pretty sure. But I'm just saying that's something that I'm like, if you're not in the mood, you can't, as a guy, you can't really fake it. Even with,
Right.
like I tell people, even with Viagra, you have to be in a mood. Viagra doesn't work unless you're actually sexually aroused.
Right.
So it's just like you could take Viagra all day. If you're not turned on by the event that you're going to do, nothing's happening.
Right.
And so, like, you know, like as a guy, you got to be comfortable being like, hey, I can't do this, and not worry about something that's like comments I've heard over the years. Are you gay because you can't get it up? Are you like, are you just not into me? Do you not find me attractive? There's this weird pressure to perform. I'm like, there's a lot of pressure for a guy in a room of people to perform that
Right.
On demand.
Right. Like I've shown up to events and like this one was like, oh yeah, let me like pull your dick out. She's like, oh, you're not hard. I was like, I just showed up here. I don't know what you want me to do.
Right.
But literally, you're walking around in clothes. Everybody's walking around in clothes, and you expect me to just walk up and be like, I am not aroused.
Right.
At all. So I don't know what you want from me. Like, can I have a nipple fetish? You want to show me a nipple so I can? Okay, I'm trying to work at it. But it wasn't that. It was pretty much like,
Right.
you know,
Yep.
get going. And I'm like, I don't know who you. There's also a fallback because I am like a dominant person in like BDS and stuff. So if somebody's barking stuff to me, I'm just like, that is not a turn on at all. That
The exact
You like
opposite.
to be in charge.
that will dry up my pee hole. So, like, you know, I'm just like, no, I can't get into that. I don't know why you're telling me stuff. That's awkward. You didn't negotiate that, and I don't project that on the people either. I might be a dominant person in the BDSM, but everywhere else, I don't project it. Even in that community, everybody's all like, "Aren't you a dominant?" I was like, "Yeah, but we didn't negotiate that, so I don't know why you want me to just take charge of stuff." Like,
Right.
We do this the first night we're meeting you, and you seem like super respectful, like not like you're trying to like overtake situations and shit, you know, like so. It's so weird. It's so weird. They're like, why would you want to be like that?
even
you know,
in the
did you expect
military,
that?
like I wasn't like, "Oh, I'm the alpha." I'm like, I showed up, man. What are we doing? Like,
I showed
because
up.
it's like you think about it. And I always say this: if you have like 10 men in the room, and all 10 of those guys want to be the alpha,
Oh God, dude.
what you're saying is I can't coexist unless I'm in charge, right?
Yes.
Right.
So
Yes.
I'm like, you can't work. You can't work as a team. You can't work cohesively. You can't do nothing because you're always trying to jock for position within each other.
Right.
If you just show up with multiple people and you're like, hey man, I don't care. We do your thing. I do my thing. We're having fun, right? You coexist. Like that's what it should be. But you get so many people that are trying to jock for position in so many communities and stuff like that, and you know that I'm just like, this shit's annoying. Like, can it not be a pissing contest?
Thank you.
Can we just not? My ego isn't that fragile that I need to be the manliest man in the room. Like literally, I'm the biggest dude in the room as is. I don't need I don't need to project that I'm the biggest guy in the room. I just show up and I'm just like, you know, I can't hide. It's like I can't hide it. You know, like you know. And I tell people that, and that's something that I also tell people when we talk about like bodies and physical perspectives of people and stuff like that. That like some guys are like, oh man, I just feel a little uncomfortable because you know I'm not like. I was like, I am 6'2", 300 pounds.
Right.
I successfully swing. I successfully have sex. I successfully do kink stuff, and like my partners are in all shapes and sizes and stuff like that. You have an issue with confidence, because I will give you some of mine. I will bottle it up. I think very highly of myself.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, I think that goes a long way. That
Right.
people, they focus on like the physical. They're like, I need to look like a Greek Adonis. I'm like, no, you don't. You don't.
No.
Like, trust me.
Confidence goes a long way.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
With females too.
Absolutely.
I'm not really attracted to, unconfident females at all.
No.
Or males. Both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or not only that, have people vouch for you. Somebody's like,
Right.
oh yeah, I want to experience that. It's like, I know. And like I've had that where somebody's like, I want to explore that. They're like, talk to him. He'll show you. And I was like, there you go. Somebody felt comfortable enough to say, you want to experience this. This is somebody that I vouch for and I trust. I was like, that is a confident situation right there.
Mm-hmm.
And like you have so many people that like, like I said, that have that, they show up and they got like an S on their chest and they're like, I am this. I'm like, but it's kind of an ass.
But
Right.
but,
Like
but are you? But
Right.
are you? You know, come on.
You want to hear yourself speak, and like I get it on some level, I do too. But I have no problem deferring to somebody else and letting them speak as well, because I know, being in the military and my background, construction, some of the things I say and how I say my words don't work out right.
Mm.
And if you can say something better than me, or you can say something better than me, I'm going to be like, I am going to let you two speak, and I'm just going to shut up. Because you will translate that so much better than I can.
There you
Right.
go.
I talk to a certain demographic. If you're like, I work construction and I did, I was a truck driver for a couple of years and military. So my language and how I convey stuff is different. Very directed to the point. Not
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
responds to that.
Right.
And people need different ways. And being an instructor, I learned over the years, teaching 160, 170 people, that like I may not reach all of them a certain
Right.
way. And I need to change how I do that. So, if I'm talking to this kid over here, in the Army, and I'm like, okay, you're struggling this way. All right, let's try this. And like, I do that, and then I work with somebody else and I try that. And then when I come back into the Kink community, it's like, okay, I see your situation here. Let me try to be of assistance this way. And if I can't do that, I don't want to put you in a situation where my energy and personality is just too strong for you.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And that happens to where like I know I have a presence and a tone and stuff. So I'm like, if that's too much and that's making you uncomfortable, you'll do better listening to this person, even though they'll say the same exact thing.
Mhm.
You'll respond better to this person because of the way that their energy and the way they present themselves or project themselves and stuff like that.
Right.
And it just happens. And
That's
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Well,
And-
we appreciate you coming here and listening to yourself speak.
Mhm.
No problem. I appreciate being on the show. So,
No, we
Love
really
it.
enjoyed it, and it was a really great show. We really thank you for sharing
yeah.
everything that you're doing with the Coalition for the Alternative Lifestyles.
Colorado Center of Alternative Lifestyle.
Colorado
Center
Center of
Alternative
Alternative
Lifestyles.
Lifestyles. Where did I get Coalition at, Drew? I think I got that from you. I feel like.
yeah, we probably just threw
maybe
it
I'm
out.
wrong.
Probably just threw it
So
out.
we really appreciate all the work that you're doing with the Colorado
Center.
Center
Center
of
of
Alternative
Alternative
Lifestyle.
So it's CCAL?
Yeah,
Two
no,
C's?
ColoradoCAL.com.
So
Okay.
we'll go by, like, you'll see people will say they'll call it Cal.
Okay.
Center of because it's
Center of Alternative Lifestyles. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, we again appreciate you coming and sharing everything that you're doing with the Colorado Center of Alternative Lifestyles.
There you go. Third time's the charm.
If you guys want to see more, head over to our website. We'll definitely have links over to the Colorado Coalition of Alternative Lifestyles.
God damn
it. Fuck it.
It's like a tongue twister.
It is now.
You can see more on our website and check out our event page where we'll have all sorts of lifestyle related events.
Yes.
For the office, for the ranch, for the coalition, for the.
God damn. You are done.
just gonna-
I'm done.
We're just gonna get a piece of paper
Done.
and just post it up.
You can
Every
check
time she
over-
says it,
right?
it just right across the
Right.
bottom. Right across the bottom. There you go.
Colorado
Cal Center for Alternative
In my
Lifestyles.
defense, coalition starts with a C too, so
Hey,
it's
there you
not
go.
like I was.
So does cock.
Check out our website where you can find more events and more links to educate yourself on the options available in the lifestyle. Otherwise, make sure that you listen to us and like us over on YouTube and Spotify, and check us out on Breaker. We just got added to Breaker. Other than that, you guys have a great day, and make sure you catch Duane and his Fafa
Oh, yeah.
or his Pink Couch Confessional over on our Patreon. See you guys later. Bye.